treating them like we treat them. They ain't even thought of it. And still be alive, that means we didn't use a special thing on them. And we know we have it. They know like we got to guess at it. No, we know what we are using. We know how long we use it, and we know when to change up, when to flip the schedule. We have to, or we wouldn't be here. I was just listening about Sunniyata Alakoli. He's just getting out. He's 85 years old. He's been in the penitentiary 49 years. Other brothers have been in close to that. The brothers down in New Orleans, he was in prison for 42 years. They let him go the day before he died because he had cancer. They wasn't going to let him go out and run around. They had all the stuff on his ears, and nose, and everything. Is he ready to die? Yes, he is. You sure? Yes. Let him go. He didn't even get a chance to get home. He died. Okay. We have our other friends. They, just like to say you have friends that's been locked up, say 20 years. For the movement, if you tell somebody 20 years that's out here walking around, they think that's a long time. Hell, it is a long time. When you got to do it, 20 years? When you come out of penitentiary after 20 years, the whole world has changed. I mean, you like, man, this is deep. And it do be deep. And I remember I think the longest stretch I did at one time was about 4 years. I don't have no, I get lucky. I did all of my youth in prison. When I wasn't doing nothing, I'd just be riding bicycles and going to parties, so I wasn't doing nothing. I was learning the system. Whether it's the Army, the Navy, Marine, those systems, the prisons are part of the system. The people in that system are the same all over. They even call them E4s, E this, that, and other, right? If you're in the Navy, you're a E something or other. But you're the number. If you're a warden, you're a E14. If you're a general, you're a F or Z, something 14. Same category. You're just in one part of another part of the system, right? And once you've been in the system, they can flip you you can go from the Navy to the Army and not miss a skip. Well, what do we call these things now? That's all. You don't have to learn nothing new because you're used to the system. Okay. So what we offer is, to the Negro is hero status. The Negro has never played the hero before. But it ain't going to be easy for him. It's easy for me now, but it ain't. I understand where the people are at. They have to look at the world, look at their lives, look at their family, and they got to think. If I stay with Boss Man, what is my family going to look like by the time It's not going to look too good. It don't look too good. But that's a chance. That's a risk. You know what they say, the greater the risk, the greater opportunity. But it is a risk to jump out of a boss man's house into a freedom house. Okay. But if boss man's house is burning up, it's not a risk. It's a risk to stay in boss man's house when it's on fire. And you take a survey with everybody, is boss man's house on fire? They say, yep, it's on fire. You go to the fire department, it says the house on fire, it's on fire. You go to the social network, it says it's on fire. Is boss man's house on fire? Yes, it is. It's just how long will it take to burn, that's all. How long will it before it's consumed? But it's on fire. Oh, the house is on fire and it's spreading. So pretty soon the roots, the doors will be engulfed in flames and you won't be able to get out. That's what people say. So uh, that's the way it is now. Boss man's house is on fire. And it looked like he's not learning anything. He's not taking any. He's not taking any advice, and he's not. Uh, I can't let the niggers help me. The niggers would. That would be admitting we were wrong, and that's bad. So, but it ain't nothing new about it. All history, you know, when you read the Quran and the Hadith, it all is very familiar. The people said the same thing. So, like if a guy was just guessing about the Quran, pretty soon he would know this book is right, man. This is right. Okay. So I'm gonna speed up because the discussion today is serialization, and I want to go a little bit on a few things from the let's call it the to-do list. One of the things we want to talk about is that our antagonists are professional failures. Professional failures. They're not like loose, uncoordinated, accidental. They are professional failures. Everybody and all the groups that came out against us, they're all up against the wall looking stupid. Whether it's Abdul Malik out there in Oakland, uh, it was idiocy and arrogance that we used to refer to them, and Sister Bahia and them all as high school Negroes. We refer to them now as elementary school Negroes. Why? Because we have grown and they haven't. They're still doing the same thing. That's why money disappears still. How's people gonna, after the second or third time, anybody would know where because who could have access? Anyway, it's a long story. So, all we do is raise the thing, and we're not gonna panic because see, there's certain things that's going on. We realized the pattern a long time ago. You know, I kind of made dua years ago, about 40 years ago, about my sons. They were still young then, and they were right in Oakland. That's like being in D.C. And we were right on the main street, and our family is all. So I asked Allah to keep them alive long enough till they can see what's going on, because they were teenagers at that time. So Allah kept them alive. And then when I realized what was all behind it, about 20 years ago, they was all looking at, both of them had photo albums. And my oldest son had photo album of, I had even some of the photos of when you take kids on their sixth grade graduation thing, right? We went over to Angel Island, and one of their little friends had a long natural, and he could stand up and turn flips, And I said, whatever happened to so? He said, he's dead. So all the kids in his sixth grade class was dead, you know. And don't get up to where the niggas got grown. They was all dead, and they were dying at that time. Same thing with my youngest son. So after looking at their photo albums, I realized what had happened. boss man, we worked good together as a team, even though they wasn't turning flips about Islam and stuff. But they was there with me in the masjid. We lived in the masjid together, and we slept in the masjid. I took them all around the country doing lectures and everything. And so the government realized this guy got a team, and because we referring to so-and-so, Dad, so-and-so acting like a B-word person. I said, I know, I picked it up. Well, why did you say that? I did it. My youngest son, he said, Dad, so-and-so's the police. I said, you're right. I said, how do you know he's the police? He said, well, the people that come and they speak. And he said he gave a beautiful speech, but when he was speaking, I dress him up in a police uniform. And if it fits, he's the police. I said, well, but he was 12, 13, 14. I said, well, you're right, but that technique, that's for you only. I mean, but it was right. He would dress him up. Allah gave him the thing because he was sure right all the time. How do you know it? Because I want to ask, well, how do you know? So-and-so. Well, he leans next to the door and he creeps around. I said, that's right. That's Usama, all right, from up in Denver. Yeah, he's creepy, Dad. I said, yeah, that's him. I said, I knew he was police the day I saw him. That's why I asked him to come here to Oakland, because I knew who he was. Okay. Anyway, we have a lot and blessed our community, a lot and blessed us, because all those things that take everybody else down, meanness, madness, arrogance, they go around hurting people. Well, we don't do that. And the proof of it was that test in California some time back, when I was assaulted in the masjid by Mukhtar and Khadijah. That was a seal on everything. I knew by the way I responded, and everybody else knew too. That was his last hold card. I mean, we got to get him, and because see, he signed up for this. Abdul Malik them had kind of backed up, and he said Abdul Malik made a mistake. He's telling me, he said he should have stuck with your behind. And so he was telling me, he's talking to me like, I'm going to bring you down, big guy, like in the movies. The dumb police is telling the criminal. The only thing is, I'm not the criminal, they are. And they don't realize it, that, hold it, I'm not the criminal, you are. And we're not fitting into your category in anything you use. When I was always trying to always use white girls, I think I done asked 500 white girls about marriage. But I know here's the thing. They don't have them there for marriage. They have them there as a trap. So that's why I say, hey, Jane, would you like to get married? I think about it. At UC Berkeley, hey, girl, would you like to get married? Now, I ain't asked a Negro woman. So now they would think, them dumb people, they would be thinking, this nigga here just love white girls. Well, actually, I was celibate for 15 years. I couldn't be too crazy about, certain things, or else you can't go that long. And everybody's sniffing and feeling around. They said, I know this nigga pulling something because it don't happen. And I said, no, that's the way it's going on. So anyway, that was a white girl trap. Why? Because I'm a Negro, and that's what they're going to do. That's automatically, and in my age period, that's the best trap. And for everybody else, it's as good a trap as any because the hadith is clear. the greatest trap or the greatest da-da-da-da-da for men is women. Okay. Can you imagine a Negro got 14 years and more celibacy? And they definitely don't believe it. It's not possible. It ain't possible. Niggas don't do that. And then they send it, everybody they send at that time is Euros mostly, because they think that's what, yeah. A Euro called me in the middle. Well, they didn't use all Euros. A 1 Euro lady called me. She was the healthiest Euro that I had saw up to that time. Now they got a lot of healthy white women. But in those days, way back, white women was straight up and down. And now they kind of filling out a little. We're not doing too bad. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't be paying no attention.